And welcome back, Rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our preview of the beginning of international competition for the 2024 season for the USA Eagles, as the USA Eagles, at number 17 ranked on the World Rugby ranking, take on number 20 Romania this Friday, July 5th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff time at SeatGeek Stadium, the home to the Chicago Hounds in Chicago, Illinois. You can watch that game live on Florugby. I think they do post it later on demand, but you can watch it on Florugby. Not free. You do have to pay for that, but that is the only way to watch the game. So let's go into this a little bit. First of all, this is the first time that the USA Eagles team has been assembled for this year. Last time that the USA Eagles were together was back in November 2023 when they won the Villa International Cup, defeating Spain and Brazil. So it's about 8 months since they've been together. Technically, and this is kind of the downfall of USA Rugby, the team have been together for only a week in training. So after the last weekend, the last day of games, which was Saturday, June 29th, Sunday, June 30th, all the players from the Eagles, that were from all the Major League Rugby teams, flew into Chicago, and for the last week have been practicing. So really only 1 week of prep time for this game against Romania. Who knows how long the Romanian team has been practicing together. So it will be kind of interesting, and it goes back to what head coach Scott Lawrence has been saying about the USA program. It's a little frustrating to try to get a team that's going to play on an international level that doesn't get to really practice as often as they should. Now, granted, the majority of players haven't really not been doing anything. They've all been playing on Major League Rugby games, so they have been doing something. It's just that playing as a team, a little bit different. Now, granted, we do have a bunch of players from similar teams. Chicago has quite a few players together. I believe 5 of them. San Diego has also 5 as well. So there is some cohesion there. But again, as an overall group, they've only been able to do less than a week together. So it's kind of asking a lot in this first game against Romania. So we'll see how it goes. Now, this series with Romania is technically being played for what's called the Pershing Cup. And the Pershing Cup is named after General John J. Pershing, who put together the only inter-allied games back in 1919 in Paris, France, which was basically like an Olympics. It was a multi-international week of sporting events, and including in that week of sporting events was rugby, where the U.S. military took on the Romanian military in a rugby match. USA ended up winning 21-0. Fast forward so many years later, in 2014, the Romanian Rugby Federation decided, hey, let's create a series of games for the Pershing Cup, and those games will be played between USA and Romania. And every time one team wins, they take home the Pershing Cup. So the Pershing Cup has been played for 4 times. In that series, USA has won 3 of them. Romania has won 1. The only time Romania won was back in 2016. The last time that these two teams played was in 2023, and USA won that game. I believe USA won that game 31-17 for the Pershing Cup back in August of last year. 31-17. So, will that happen again? I think so. I mean, again, it's going to be a little shaky because they haven't been together for very long, but I feel USA should be pretty good against a team like Romania. No disrespect to Romania, but for a team like Romania who's considered, we're considered Tier 2 as well, but I think Romania might be a little bit closer to Tier 3, but USA, I feel, is pretty strong. I would be very shocked and disappointed if USA does not win against Romania at least. Next week when they play against number 5 Scotland, or number 6 Scotland, that's a different story. But I think this game, USA should use as kind of a tune-up game. And, don't look past Romania, but a very good game to find that cohesion that they need to work on and preparation for Scotland. So, the 23-man roster was released just recently. And there you go. So let's go over it. Pretty much is a who's who of MLR All-Stars with a couple of players making their first debut and a couple of players that are still playing internationally. It should be noted that a couple players were last-minute call-ins, including Vellani Helu, Caleb Geiger, Saya Uhila, and Ethan McVeigh, because unfortunately Cam Dolan, who is the most capped Eagle active right now with 67 caps, Ruben DeHaas, Alex Mahon, and Jason Dom of LA Rugby, unfortunately they were not able to attend because they are hurt. So let's go over the lineup. At your props, number 1, Jake Turnbull from Anthem Rugby, Carolina, and Paul Mullen from Utah. Paul Mullen, 34 caps, one top cap players in the team. Number 2, your top try scorer who has been phenomenal this season for MLR, Dylan the Butcher Fawcett of Chicago, 27 caps is your starting hooker. Your starting locks, Rangerman and Eaton, who is actually making his his Eagles cap debut. He plays for a French club, CA Brive Rugby in France. This will be, again, his debut time playing in America as an American Eagle. And then number 5, Greg Peterson from San Diego, 42 caps under his belt. He is the 3rd highest active cap player for the USA Eagles. Number 6 and number 7, your flankers, Sam Galla, who has been phenomenal for the Dallas Jackals, comes back. And, of course, Jameson Fontanella Schultz from Old Glory DC, another phenomenal player. Your number 8, Thomas Tuavau, who's for Utah. And then, making his debut as a capped Eagle, J.P. Smith of Seattle. Congratulations to you, J.P. Smith. You hear a lot of interviews from him. He's been excited about being an Eagle, so this is his chance to finally achieve that dream. So kudos to you. And then number 10, a veteran and one of my favorite players, AJ McGinty, who is the fly half for the USA Eagles. Top point scorer actively with 354 points, only behind Mike Herkis, who has 465. That's a big number to chase, but right now, AJ McGinty doing pretty well with his points. 2nd all-time point scorer in USA Eagles history, 354. Also 35 caps under his belt. Our wingers, Nate the Great Osberger from Chicago, 41 caps. Christian Dyer from Houston, 14 caps. And then our centers, Thomas Bonney, who's a phenomenal player. I'm so glad that this guy is on our team. Old Glory DC, and Tavita Lopetti from Seattle with 12 caps. And then our fullback, Mitchie Wilson from your reigning defending MLR champions, the New England Free Jacks. Off of the bench, we got Mike Sosone Fiangi, who plays for Agen, a French club. Nate Sylvia from San Diego. Caleb Geiger, again, last-second call-in. Vellani Helu, also last-second call-in. Ben Bonasso from Miami. Patty Ryan from San Diego. Luke Carty, number 22, who usually is a good scrum half, is on the bench this time. Probably will start with the Seattle game. And then another top capped player, the 2nd highest active cap player with 45 caps, Bryce Campbell of Chicago at the number 23. So the bench is, if you notice, a lot of young, inexperienced players who are getting more and more experience, but your top 15 of very good of who's who. They're definitely going to be interesting to see how Ranger Van Eaton does. And then again, I'm super excited for J.P. Smith. I think the guy is super, super talented. So great that he's going to get his debut. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very happy with this lineup. I don't think there are too many omissions or anybody that I'm wondering why they're not there. I mean, obviously, not having Cam Dolan there is kind of a loss because he's phenomenal. So him and his leadership and his veteranship not being there kind of hurts. But, I mean, who's to say he might not be able to show up for Scotland? We'll see. But again, overall, I feel USA should be able to beat Romania and keep the Pershing Cup in tow. Again, this is a good warm-up for Scotland. That will be a tough game against a number 6 team like Scotland. Tier 1 team, well, much more firepower on that group. But, again, this should be an exciting game. And I believe tickets are still on sale at Ticketmaster, so check them out. If you're in the Chicago area, I highly recommend. It's not very often you get to see the USA national team play here in America. So any opportunity you can, especially if you're in the area, go ahead and do it. It'll be a great, fun atmosphere, fun game. It should be a lot of fun. And again, if you can't watch it, buy Florugby. You'll be able to see it on there. And then next week, USA takes on, as I mentioned before, the number 6 ranked Scotland. That one's going to be a tough matchup. So, Anyway, that is our preview. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I hope you do get to watch the game, and I'll see you on the pitch. Go USA.